Hello, hello, everyone. How are y'all doing today? I am here to talk to you about the Judgment card. Okay, so this is the second to last Major Arcana card in the Major Arcana. So super excited to be almost wrapping this up with y'all. This is one of my favorite cards. I know I say that all the time, but it is. This is definitely one of my favorite cards, and it's going to be a lot of fun to discuss with y'all. So, if you don't know who I am, my name is Melissa. I am the Empress of the Night's Light. I am a tarot reader, astrologer, breathworker, and a witch. So, all right, let's get on into it. So we will be going over Judgment. So if you do have your own deck, go ahead and go grab that, pause this video, come back to it whenever you are ready. But be sure to grab your own deck. That way you can look at it. I know the image on the camera is not going to be the absolute best. So having your own deck to really look at the card is super helpful. So this is, of course, from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And what I want you to do, here, let me put it more in the middle here. What I want you to do is really look at this card, and I want you to pick out something that maybe you hadn't really noticed before. Maybe pick out something that's standing out to you today if you don't really see something that you've never noticed before. And think about that. And if you have a notebook beside you, go ahead and write that down, because we're going to get into the meanings of the images here on the card. And I would love to hear what you pointed out and how that reflects upon your life right now. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to be asking y'all to do a little bit of reflection, but don't worry, it'll be good. So have you gotten your thing picked out? If not, go ahead and pause this and come back in a moment. So the thing that I'm going to pick out is this noise here. We can see the sound waves, right, coming down. And I just think that that's very impactful, right? So that is the thing that I am picking out. Stands out to me right now, as well as the background back here. But for the most part, the sound, okay? So let's get into this imagery, shall we? So perhaps one of the first things that we might have noticed with this card is this angel here, right? This angel is kind of the centerpiece, okay? Very colorful, very vibrant, whereas everything else is not so vibrant, okay? So this angel actually symbolizes some important information that's coming our way, okay? And it's almost like this angel is communicating it through those lines, right? And it's being received. The message is being sent and is being received by the people down here, okay? So something else that we might pick up on is this flag, okay? This flag here. It is a white flag with a red cross on it, okay? So this symbolizes that there is that announcement, and it's much needed in our minds, okay? It's almost like we are finally receiving something that we've been missing for a long time, that maybe we weren't ready to receive until now, things like that, okay? It's a timely message, to say the least. Okay, so in the background here, that background piece that I picked up on, those are mountains. Okay, so of course, mountains represent that higher realm, right? Being able to reach those higher realms, being able to tap into those spaces, things like that. So we can almost see that we are able to do that with this card, right? This card could be symbolizing, based solely on the imagery, that we are able to tap into those higher realms, access those higher realms, things like that. So let's go ahead and go over to the trumpet, okay, discussing with the sound here, okay? So in this, the trumpet represents the call for clarity, for some sort of divine intervention, for some sort of wake-up call, okay? And the little noise things here represent that people are able to hear it, that we are able to hear it. So whenever we pull this card in a reading, that might be something that we pick up on, like, oh, we're able to hear the call. When the divine sends out the call, we are able to answer, right? Something else, you know, the wings up here are red. So again, red is one of those passion colors, love, deep, deep love, right? Deep affection for someone or something, okay? So this to me almost communicates that there is this divine love that is being put upon us, okay? It's almost like this divinity, you know, whatever this being is that is divine, this angel, whatever this angel represents for each of us, that connection to that divinity and that ability to receive that message is super important with this card. Of course, the clouds, clouds can represent some sort of stormy weather. They can represent some clouded judgment coming in. But with this, it's more of a messenger space because the angel is sitting on the clouds here, okay? So we can also take from this that we are in a space of transition, right? Because clouds in the sky, they move. So we can always think about clouds that are moving as times of transition, times that are moving past us, or times that are moving in, depending on the question that we are asking in the reading, okay? So these people here, another one of my favorite parts of this card, we have these people here and they are all gray, right? They are all gray and they are coming out of boxes. Could we assume that they are kind of rising from their graves in a way? Can we assume that they are coming back to life? So that adds another suggestion to the meanings of this card, okay? Being able to rise again, not from a physical death, but being able to rise from a spiritual death, essentially having a rebirth, a sense of renewal, things like that, right? Okay, so that represents, of course, that they are coming out of their past selves. They're coming out of who they used to be, what they used to be about, and they are able to hear the new call and rise to the occasion. And because they have open arms, they are welcoming that in, okay? So before we move forward, I want to kind of talk about the fool's journey for a minute, okay? I'm big on the fool's journey, right? But if we think about where judgment is in the fool's journey, we're moving out of the sun and into that judgment space, okay? So the Fool has essentially gone through all of these major arcana cards. I have another video on that if you are interested. I can definitely share that in the comments of this video. If anyone wants it, just let me know. But whenever we think about this, we think about all the things that we've been through along that fool's journey, right? We've come across so much. We have changed, evolved, grown, all the things. And then the sun comes in and we're able to see the light again. We are able to see this joy. We are finding our joy. We're living in that space. And then enters judgment. And judgment is like that aha moment, that wake up call, that sign that tells us, oh, I am changing. I am rebirthing myself. I have changed and grown in the ways that I thought I did. I can now answer the call. I can now do what I feel is my purpose, right? So judgment, I think, is a very important card. And the last card is the world, where we reach that state of completion. But judgment is this space of becoming anew. Now, judgment is not going to be comfortable, right? I know a lot of us are going through a lot of huge changes right now, okay? So as we are going through these changes, I want you to be able to embrace this idea of you becoming your new self, okay? Imagine as if, as on the card, you are coming up out of your own grave, okay? Out of your own old self, okay? It doesn't have to be a coffin like it's shown on the card. It doesn't have to be anything like that. But I want you to imagine that you are rising from your old self, okay? This card actually does a really good job. This is from the Light Seers Tarot deck. Absolutely love this deck, but I love the imagery because that's exactly what's happening with judgment. We are being able to let our new self come up. We are able to let that self come up and be guided by that self, okay? So let's get into the meanings, as if you can't already tell what the meanings are, right? Some key words for this card include renewal, awakening, decision-making. There's a lot of clouded judgment beforehand, right, on the fool's journey. And then we come to this space and it's like, oh, we know exactly what we need to do now. We know exactly where we're headed and where we want to go, okay? So there's this suggestion to let go of the old. So if in your question, whenever you pull this card, you're asking about what to do next, that's a sign for this card. Being able to let go of the old and make room for the new, including your whole new self, okay? This is perfect for coming out of Scorpio season, right? I don't know about y'all, but Scorpio season was insane for me. So seeing this card is a relief to me now, right? Being able to say, oh, all these changes, they're still solidifying, right? They're still becoming concrete. They're still becoming part of the foundation. But this card almost tells us that everything's going to be okay. I don't mean that in like a fake positive thing. It's more along the lines of this is a reassuring card that whenever we receive it, whenever we see it, whenever we pull it out of the deck, it's telling us that we can become someone new. We can become who we're trying to turn into now, right? Who we're trying to grow into. We can do that. We have the ability. We just have to put in the work, right? Sometimes this can represent some sort of spiritual awakening, right? Some sort of awakening within ourselves or in our spiritual path that's going to take us to a whole new level, okay? And it always represents new beginnings as well. So then reversed, if you pull this card reversed, it's not so great, okay? It's more along the lines of a lack of self-awareness. So if you're pulling this card in a question of like, what do I need to do for myself? How can I move myself forward? I would definitely see this as a sign to work on your self-awareness, right? Self-doubt. This can definitely be talking about self-doubt as well as doubt about the other things and other people, other situations in your life. So this is a great card to evaluate, okay? And this is a great card to do shadow work with. Okay, so some shadow work prompts for this card would include, what am I ignoring that I know I should not be? I know, and I don't like to use should, okay? Because I don't like to be should on either, but this is kind of a should, okay? Another shadow work question might be something like, what is standing in the way of me feeling renewed? What is standing in the way of me rising up to my purpose? Things like that, okay? This card is represented by the zodiac sign Scorpio, very, very Scorpio vibes, and the planet Pluto, okay? So the planet Pluto is that planet of transformation, of rebirth. So it's very fitting that this card would also be related to Scorpio as well as Pluto. If you were pulling this card in a question of timing, then you can count on it being more winter or some sort of stormy weather, okay? Not going to be super like peaceful weather, but definitely more stormy, more, I don't want to say upsetting, but it's not going to be a super peaceful time. It's not like temperance. You know, temperance, we see that as like a very peaceful, very balanced card. This is not very peaceful and very balanced. It's going to be very disruptive, but disruptive to us in a really forward moving way. Okay. And we might not see it as positive in the moment, but later on, whenever we're reflecting, a lot of times we would see it as being positive. Now, if I pull this card upright in a meeting, I would definitely see it as a yes. Whereas if I pull it reversed, I would more see that as a no. I did want to show you one more card. This is from the Morgan Greer Tarot deck. I love this deck, but again, definitely has similar imagery here, okay? I do like the difference in the angel. It's almost like the angel is off to the side. And then also the noise, the fire that's coming from that, right? The fire of rebirth, so to speak. So, okay, I think that was about all. Oh, yes, I did want to go over a couple of other correspondences just real quick. Let me dig out the sheet here. I don't want to miss anything. Yes, so the chakra associated with this is the crown chakra, which makes total sense. It's that connection to the divine. It's that connection to that energy. So if you are working on connecting with that divine, connecting with your deity, you know, whatever language you prefer to use, this could be a really good card for meditation, for inner work, breath work, things like that. Now, I don't have judgments set up on the schedule yet, but definitely do follow me over on my website for breath work as well, because this is one of my favorite things, being able to take the meanings of the cards, breathing through them and releasing anything that stands in our way of really accepting the lesson of the card onto us. So, okay, I think that was about it really. Yeah, so if you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the comments. You can also reach me via email at empressoftheNightsLight@gmail.com. Also, definitely check out my website for a whole bunch of new offerings. The website is empressofthenights.com/new-offerings. Okay. And that is going to be like the landing page for anything new. One of the new things is shadow work. Okay. So I am going to be doing some tarot guided shadow work over there. All the details are on the website. Definitely go check that out. And also, if you have been wanting to learn tarot, then come learn tarot with me. All the details are over there as well. That is another monthly fee. So I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great rest of your day, y'all. And feel free to let me know how you have seen Judgment, the card Judgment, work in your life as you have continued to grow and evolve and change along your path. Okay, see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.